Hey, good morning, everybody. John here with FNP Wargamers, and this is our FNP morning show. Hope you guys all had a safe weekend. Nobody ran out of toilet paper or hand sanitizer, Lysol, ground beef for some reason. Chicken, oh my God, chicken was just flying off the shelves. I'll tell you what, the panic is absolutely bonkers ridiculous for this whole coronavirus. I understand it is, a bad thing, but it has gotten a bit out of hand. So I'm going to talk about it very briefly here today. We're also going to cover some news that might have dropped over the weekend and kind of get caught up with what's going to be happening with Adepticon, or I should say, what will not be happening with Adepticon. So, I'm going to give a couple minutes here. I'm going to take a drink of the last little bit of coffee I have, and I swear to God, if I get to the grocery store today and all the coffee is gone because everybody's panicking, I'm gonna start table flipping. I'm gonna just lose my mind. I'm probably gonna have an emergency show right away. I'm going to lose my cool. I'm going to start cussing and threatening. It's going to be absolutely ridiculous. I'll be red faced if there's no coffee at the grocery store or the one that's right down the road past that one. So if there's two grocery stores within 5-10 minutes of me that don't have coffee, there's going to be hell to pay. Sorry about the slurping. I guess unless you're in Japan, which I know one of our people is in Japan, then I guess slurping is okay. So let's get on with the morning show. As usual, I'll just kind of keep refreshing. I'm going to keep this up here, but I'm going to keep refreshing because I want to see what they're going to be revealing today. So let's talk about the coronavirus and you, or the COVID-19, or some people are very unfairly saying the wushu flu or kung flu. First off, stop avoiding going to Asian restaurants. All right. First off, it's really the Asian restaurants, with the exception of the Vietnamese, and I might not be saying that right, pho places are really not super authentic. They're more American Chinese or Asian food than they are actual Asian food. Overspiced, overcooked. Anyways, there's no reason to avoid going to those style restaurants. There's no reason. And it has nothing to do with it. You are not going to get the coronavirus from Chinese food or Japanese food or anything like that. I can't believe people are actually have thought that, nor can I actually believe that some news reporters have actually talked about that. Like, hey, doctor, expert person, can you get it from eating Chinese food? So what does the coronavirus, COVID-19, have to do with you and gaming? Well, a lot of events are being canceled. So some events are being very clever, and especially if they're being held at hotels. So, and I'll explain in just a second. So if you are going to go to these GTs, the RTTs, all that kind of stuff, as I said before, and as they've said numerous times, wash your hands. Have a little tiny thing of hand sanitizer there. Ask your opponent, hey, don't touch my dice, and please don't touch my models. I'll do the same for you. That way, you're still not going to be passing on. You guys can use separate score sheets, or just one of you do the scoring, unless you guys are using the app, and then you guys can input your own scores. Just avoid touching anything that your opponent is touching, okay? Wash your hands, obviously, and just avoid that contact. It's really that simple. Now, a lot of these events are in some of the bigger cities where the state governors or the mayors or the CDC, whatever, the federal government are saying, hey, no gatherings over X amount of 100 people or 50 people, 200 people, whatever. So a nice, clever way, and I cannot remember for the life of me the name of the GT, but I believe it is in Arizona. They're not allowed to go above 200 bodies, but they have 250 some odd bodies already signed up. So what they're going to do, you may or may not know this, but when you go to a lot of these hotels, like say the Wyndham, that's where we host Warzone Houston, or have in the past few years. Inside those big giant ballrooms where you guys are playing your games, they have these partitions that are tucked away, and they can come out and section off those 3 rooms, or the ballrooms, into 3 sections. So one of the clever ways that they're getting around this is that they're going to separate their each of the sections by those partitions. So they'll have 50 people, or 100 people, 50 people, or maybe 75, something along that lines. But they're getting around that gathering. That doesn't mean that you still can't get it. It just means that they're going to still be able to have the event. They're going to reduce your exposure, and it's now on you, not your opponent, but it's on you to protect yourself. So, don't wipe your face or your eyes like I just did a minute ago. Don't sit there and manhandle people, shake hands, high five, give them a long distance high five. Don't do all this stupid Wakandan stuff, or the, I don't know, just all this stupid Vulcan stuff. I mean, some government official said, "Oh, just give them the live long and prosper sign." I mean, like, come on, guys. You can just say, "Hey, nice to see you," or "Hey, goodbye, see you later, thank you very much." You don't have to shake hands. So, still, once again, how does that tie into what we're talking about today, besides gaming events and taking care of yourself? Well, let me also add in, if you are going to go to these events, or any events after this crisis is over, wash yourself, wear deodorant, wear some clean clothes. Please stop perpetuating this issue of dirty, nasty, smelly gamers. Please, for the love of God, wear some deodorant. Please brush your teeth, take a shower. Okay, so I'm not going to be dragging that anymore. Let's talk about Games Workshop and what they're going to be doing for us. They are going to continue to give us that preview of what we're going to get at Adepticon. So it's not going to happen in one day, and I still don't know. And I even though I've looked online, I've been searching, how they're going to. Oh, it might be right here. How they're going to deliver it, whether it's going to be on Warhammer TV, or is it going to be just here on? They say it's going to be here on community page. Okay, well, there we go. Question answered. So what they're going to do is on Saturday the 28th of March at 2 p.m. GMT, or at least here Central Time would be 9 a.m. Central Time on the 28th. And then on the following week, on April 4th, at the same time, 2 p.m. GMT or 9 a.m. Central Time, they're going to do the preview for us. So they're basically going to split up that 2-hour preview and data dump it all online. I have read a couple complaints from some people, especially on the Warhammer 40,000 Facebook page. There's a subreddit. I can't think of the name of it. I normally don't go on Reddit because I think it's a trash fire. But anyways, people were complaining that Games Workshop should give us the preview now. Like this whole coronavirus thing is somehow Games Workshop's fault, or the cancellation of Adepticon is Games Workshop's fault, and that we deserve to have that information now, a week or two before it was even going to come out. Like, Games Workshop should give it to us as a reward for everything happening. I'm like, come on, guys. First off, they have to change they basically have to change the format of how they're going to be revealing this show, because it's going to go from a slideshow, all right, a slideshow, to a digital release here on the Warhammer community page. And even if they did it on the Warhammer TV page, that still takes time to set it up, because now they have to reformat everything and put it in a format, if you will, to get it out there so we can all view it normally, instead of just like a click, either click happy or, hit this YouTube video, that sort of thing. So they're going to do their great presentation. They're going, man, I sound like Trump there. They're going to do this great and wonderful presentation that is going to show up on Warhammer community page twice, on the 28th and the 4th. So for those of you that are complaining that we have to still wait until the 28th and then we have to wait till the 4th, just stop. We stop having these first world troubles. We don't have some sort of gamer privilege that we should be demanding this right now. Stop it. That's just being absolutely ridiculous, acting like that. So the good part is that we're still gonna get the review. The bad part is we don't know which reviews we're gonna get. Are they gonna front load all of the smaller specialist games on the 28th and then hold the big awesome reveals on the 4th, or are they going to split it in half? What's going to be first, the digital media? Are we going to see all the movie stuff, or are we going to see game stuff, or a smattering? It's now, we don't even know 100% what we're going to be seeing in the first place, and now we have to speculate on what we're going to be able to see. How they're going to split it. Is the first half going to be centered around Warhammer 40,000 universe, and then the back half will be Age of Sigmar, or are they going to mix it, or vice versa? Because I think they'll probably mix the two together, because they don't want to show favoritism one way or the other. They're both very reliable games, and we'll probably, unfortunately, get some Lord of the Rings stuff. I know some of you guys like Lord of the Rings game. Mechanics wise, it's a good game, but miniature wise, the whole, I don't want to get into it. It's just going to frustrate me. At any rate, so we're going to definitely cover that. It's going to be a live show, provided I'm not working at that point in time, or I'm held up in a hospital because I've got the coronavirus or something like that, and self-quarantining is not helping or something like that. I will still do that show that morning, and we will all freak out together. We'll be all super excited. So when that happens, I'm going to refresh this one more time, and then we're going to proceed to the rest of talks today. All right. So if you have not had a chance, read the Psychic Awakening short story that came out today. It is centered around the Dark Mechanicus, and we'll be seeing, this is going to basically, it's a tie into the Engine War, since we're about ready to get the pre-order this weekend for the Saga the Beast. They're starting to put out the little more snippets for Engine War. So it's a cool little story. I think I know where it's going, but it really doesn't have a big tie-in with anything that's going on. I think it's just kind of like background fluff. Not even really background fluff, just like, I don't know, behind the scenes that doesn't really play into anything. It's just cool little information. Anyways, so give it a read over. You'll probably like it. It doesn't reveal anything about necessary models, but I have a feeling that there's going to be somebody that's going to clamp onto this, and they're going to pass on a rumor that, we're getting Dark Mechanica models in this Psychic Awakening release. There's going to be, a full army, blah, 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 blah. I don't think so. The way that this story reads, we still could, but the way this story reads, ladies and gents, is that it's simply just kind of man, I don't want to give it away. They're just talking about, they're talking about a person, not even a named person. They're just talking about, I'm not even going to go into it. I don't want to ruin it for some people. I don't want to do spoilers, but it's nothing grand. It's not, I don't think there's anything there. We do know that the Dark Mechanicum is a faction in the Warhammer 40,000 universe, especially on the tabletop. It does exist. And they could very well be that. I said that we're going to be getting a brand new army in this next edition. At least that's what the rumor person has passed on to me. And with the possibility of total of 2 to 3 new factions, which I think that's stretching it. I could see maybe 2 new factions, but I think a possibility right now of one of these factions being the Dark Mechanicum, and that we could see a full array in the coming year. And that's just going to flip. People are just going to freak out. But we'll see. I'm not saying that is. I'm just, like today's title says, I'm forecasting. Just like a weatherman, I'm trying to predict what's going to happen based on patterns. We know that the Dark Mechanicum exists in the lore. We've been reading about it for years. We got our first set of Dark Mechanicum units last year or the year before with Blackstone Fortress. Yeah. Or maybe last year with Blackstone Fortress. So we know the Dark Mechanicum exist. They're tied in with also the Chaos Knights book that came out. So it's basically suggesting that we will see something in the future. We don't have to see it immediately. This is something that they could draw out. It's like, hey, we're starting to see a waning in sales. It's time to go and inject something new and exciting into Warhammer 40,000. So let's go ahead and inject the new army, the Dark Mechanicum, that everybody's been waiting for. That could be very well what they're going to do. They're going to sit on it for a while, or they might capitalize on it right now. I don't know. And that's even if it does happen. That's just my prediction. That's based on the rumors that have been passed on to me. Actually, very solid rumors that we're going to get. They said 2 to 3 armies. I'm thinking more like 1 to 2. I think they were overestimating based on the information that they had. So I'm predicting 1 to 2 armies. Right now, that second army, I could reasonably say could be one of those armies could be the Dark Mechanicum. The other one is either a brand new race, a brand new Xenos race. I think it's going to be tied to the old ones. That's my hope more than a prediction, or it's going to be a psychically based army. But I don't think those will be coming out this year. I think we'll see those next year. Excuse me as I take a drink of the last bit of coffee I have. So let's talk about. Good morning, Nam. Let us talk about. Before we go on, now that Nam is on here, I just realized I have not talked about Marvel Crisis Protocol in a long time. So we should probably cover that this week. I'll probably do that on the Wednesday show. But there's a lot of new models coming out, and a lot of models right now. Alongside those previews that Games Workshop's going to be doing, Atomic Mass Games, who are the producers for the Marvel Crisis Protocol, which you guys have heard me talk about many, many times before. I've even showcased the models. Probably one of the best competitive skirmish level games out there. And I know that's saying a lot about games Warhammer 40,000, but I look at Warhammer 40. If I wanted to compare the two, Warhammer 40,000 would be checkers versus chess, where Marvel Crisis Protocol is more of the chess. You've got smaller model count, which is already a huge bonus in your favor, especially if you're on a budget and you don't want to paint a bunch of models and everything. And they're up at, I think we're at 23, 24, 25, 26 characters now. Guardians of the Galaxy, Groot, Star-Lord, and Rocket Raccoon just came out this last weekend. So we're up to 26 characters, I believe. And you're only using like about 4 to 5 characters per game that you're playing from a roster of 10. And that includes using the Infinity Stones, which are a thing. But this game is more like chess. I would say it's a lot more strategic, a lot more competitive than, say, Warhammer 40,000. It's just not gaining, it does not have the following just yet. But it's one of those things that is building more and more steam as they drop more and more characters. More people are going to that game as they start to realize that, well, if I want to do a little bit more competitive play, I'll get that in a second. I want to do something that's a little bit more competitive, that's a little bit more balanced, actually a lot more balanced than, say, Warhammer 40,000, and even Age of Sigmar's has its unbalanced moments with the armies, and you see that with this style of game when you have these big major factions, like 20 some odd factions each. you see the pendulum swing back and forth, especially as a new army is released. We still don't know yet what's going to happen with the Seraphon that just got rid of the Lizardmen, however you want to word it, that just came out. We don't know how they're going to tip the balance. And I'm still reading over that battle tome to try to gauge which direction it's going to go. Is it going to be game breaking, or is it going to just be a nice boost? You didn't miss anything, Grandpa Strange. Just rambling about the COVID-19, wash your hands, watch for events. I'm talking about Marvel Crisis Protocol right now. But as Nam said, it's also, remember that 3D chess game in Star Trek. Marvel Crisis Protocol is kind of like that. So it's gaining more and more followers. It's getting some steam behind it. And I have to say, it is much more competitive and tactical, strategic, whatever terminology you want to use, than even Kill Team. The only thing I would put it close to is Warhammer Underworlds, because that game is designed for competitive play. Warcry and Kill Team are kind of are close, but they're still like second rate next to playing Marvel Crisis Protocol. And with all the new characters coming out, that's what I'm going to talk about on Wednesday's show. Plus, we're going to be doing a review of a new RPG that I got to play test. And and I've got the preview copy ahead of time, like a lot of Kickstarter followers and the beta testers. Well, alpha and beta test. But we're going to cover all that on Wednesday's evening show. And I'm going to be doing it at 8 o'clock p.m. Central Time this Wednesday. So let's jump into, now that I covered that, let's talk about Warhammer 40,000. Let's talk about the next big thing that's coming. Well, first, let me talk about the Seraphon Battle Tome. I will be doing a review of that once I read a little bit more. I've got to go back and read the core rules to make sure I understand what is happening. I won't be able to give you too much of an insight like how it compares to other armies, because I have not read other battle tomes and I'm still a noob with it. So whenever Ski comes back, he can correct me with how wrong I am. Excuse me as I drink the last bit of my coffee. So Sunday, big reveal, and we knew this was coming. And I talked to you guys before, that the box set was coming out, and some people, and I passed the same rumor on that there's going to be a whole bunch of new orc models in it. Some people were saying there's going to be some new type of Space Wolf Primaris with grenade launchers on their shoulder pads or their shoulders or something like that. The rumors were just absolutely rampant. I went ahead and passed them on. I treated them as rumors, so take it with a grain of salt. So my prediction came true, and I shouldn't just say my prediction. Multiple people predicted it. Now, I'm not going to play the exciting video with all the sound effects and everything. I'll leave that for you guys to do, but I don't want that to get small. All right, so Prophecy of the Wolf comes out. Now, this is after the events of the initial encounter between Ghazghkull and Ragnar Blackmane, when they effed each other up. If you have not read the little snippets that they've put into the Warhammer community page, Ghazghkull gets his head cut off, and Ragnar loses an arm, gets his neck broken. Both are retrieved by their subordinates, and Mad Doc Grosnick, I think is his name. He basically sewed Ghazghkull's head on. And if you guys know the lore behind orcs, that's not unreasonable. It's not like a Marvel Comics thing where it's like, oh, the hero, even though he died, there's no penalty for dying. They'll just come back in next year in a new issue, like, oh, look who returned from the dead. He wasn't actually dead. He was captured and fixed up and made better. But for orcs, losing a limb, even their head, they can, they're not going to regrow their head or regrow their arm, but they can get it reattached. So that's pretty much what has happened. And then Ragnar, just because you have your neck broke does not necessarily mean you're dead. All right, guys. Now, if he had his head ripped off, I would say Ragnar is dead. So he gets his neck broken. He loses an arm. They patch him up, and they're like, you know what? Let's go ahead and turn this sucker into a Primaris because he's going to die probably anyways. Let's go ahead and see if it works. They did it. It worked out for him. He's feeling pretty strong, feeling pretty beefy now. And so that's why we get to see him as a Primaris. So now these two get to face off again in Prophecy of the Wolf, and we'll see how this pans out. Now this box set is pretty. I don't even know how I feel about this box set. So for the Space Wolves, you're getting a 10-man infiltrator squad and of course Ragnar. And I feel it's a little lopsided. And then you get Gazkal and Makari, of course. A couple Squigs, or a couple other Gretchen, looks like, or Grots. Maybe a medical Grot and a ammo Grot. You're getting 5 Mega Knobs, and then 3 Mega Knobs and 5 regular Knobs. Seems a little lopsided, but as I've been told that the Knobs and Mega Knobs are not necessarily all that great, but comparatively, I feel like that's a lopsided. But that's what I was predicting, you guys, that Ragnar was going to get his ass whooped in this fight against Gazkal, which he did. Let's see here. 1 second, Nam. So he did get his ass whooped, and I said that Space Wolves were going to be on the back end. They're going to be up against some pretty major odds, and sure enough, here we are. They are up against some major odds. For those of you on YouTube, Nam says, not familiar with these two factions, but would this box make two pretty good kill teams? I think, well, obviously not Gazkal. I don't think you can use him, and you'll be able to use him in kill team. And I doubt you can use Ragnar in kill team. Now, the Knobs, I'm not familiar. You would have to talk to, there's a gentleman, I don't want to say his, well, Mr. Pacina, in the kill team league. He runs orcs. I don't think the Mega Knobs would be good, but I imagine the Knobs and then the Knobs would be good. The Infiltrators, I suspect, are really good because they're good for close combat and kill team, and they got some good weapons. And you could even turn that Ragnar into an elite model or something, or an HQ, a commander, if you're able to use that. I don't know if this is a good box for kill team. Nam, if you're interested in buying it, I would find somebody that's just looking for Gazkal or Ragnar, and then see about splitting the box and you getting the other guys. I think that anybody that's looking to get this for kill team, if you can split this box several ways, then you're set. Especially, and I would, for those of you that are here in Houston, jump on the Atomic Gamer Society page, or on the Houston, or that, not the Houston, but the Warhammer 40,000 Houston page, and say, hey, I don't want Gazkal, I don't want Ragnar, I just want the models. Does anybody want to split the box with me? That sort of thing. And then it'll open up for you guys. So besides this box set coming out, we're also getting, you're welcome, sir. We're also getting the Saga the Wolf book, and we're getting a number of things like some novels, and we'll have to get some other doodads. But before I go into that, sorry, my mind was starting to drift there. I want to talk about the price of this. So Gazkal is about the same size as, Gilliman and, I can't remember another person. Anyway, same size as Gilliman, so he's probably going to be about $65, $70. I think he's going to be closer to $70 model in about 6 to 9 months. Ragnar's going to be $40 in about the same amount of time. Those Infiltrators, I think, are a $50 box or a $60 box. All in all, just kind of just guessing the pricing, this box value is going to be around $275. Between $250, $275, maybe $280. It all comes down to the price of Gazkal, which I think is going to be $65 to $75 model. So that's actually, and now this book, I saw some pricing were saying that in the UK this is priced at 150 British sterling pounds. That would translate to $130 here in the US. But before you guys start thinking, oh my gosh, this is going to be easy, $130, no problem, we'll split it. I just want you to be aware that there has been markups for boxes like this here in the U.S. and well everywhere else, about a 25% markup. So it is very reasonable that this box will be between 160 and 180. So I would predict, and I know it's a big margin to think about, I would go off of, just in case they do base it off of the UK price, it is a nice even split, $130 minimum up to $180. If it goes above 180, I'll be surprised. That's a hell of that's more than a 25% increase. If that information is true, which I will find out today, the actual pricing, as long as everything comes through. So just keep that in mind. You're looking at anywhere from $130 to $180 for that box. I don't see it more than $180 just because of the contents. That's not, I don't see that happening. All right, so rest of the Saga of the Wolf stuff, let's talk about that. So the Saga of the Beast Psychic Awakening book will go on pre-order at the same time. Be a $40 book. You're going to see, as usual, the limited edition book, which doesn't look too different. It just has some shiny stuff underneath. It's going to be an $80 price increase. Or $40, sorry. It's going to be double the price. And for that double price, ladies and gentlemen, you are getting black edged pages, black ribbon bookmark, soft touched finish with embossed details and full artwork on the front and back. Not only do you get all the rules, art, and background from the standard book, but this edition also includes extra material from Prophecy of the Wolf campaign book, plus 4 short stories originally published right here on the Warhammer community site. So basically, when you pick up this box set, the Prophecy of the Wolf, all those rules that are in there, which are just scenarios, are going to be in this book. So you're going to be getting those scenarios that you were already getting in the first place that you weren't going to use more than likely you're not going to use. And you're going to get 4 short stories that were free online, all for the increased price of $40. Now, if you are a big fan of Space Wolves and Orcs, or either or you just big collector's fan, this is for you, man. This is one of those purchases that are designed for you. I'm not a big fan of this. I think it's a bit of a ripoff, but that's me. If you like this sort of thing, go crazy, man. Go crazy. Because I've certainly bought things that were limited edition, but I try to go for stuff with a little bit more value. But once again, everybody's got their thing. So on top of all that, there's going to be hardback, EPUB, and an audio novel for Saga of the Beast. That's going to be coming out the same weekend. I don't know if this is prior to this box set that's coming out, Prophecy of the Wolf, or if it's post becoming Primaris and Gaskell getting super buffed. No idea. So it's going to be interesting to see what that's about. Saga of the Space Wolves, I'm not going to go too much in this, but what I'm excited about is this book. It's centered around, it's a Horus Heresy. It's about Constantine Valdor. And it's going to be seeing a real in-depth look into his mind, the type of person he is, or was, or could be, I guess, depending on where you look at it in the timeline. His interactions with the Emperor, everything that went on with him and the Thunder Warriors, and then, of course, everything else that's going on in the galaxy as it burns. What'll be interesting, especially in regards to the Thunder Warriors, is to see how this relates to people like Edrin Har, the Riven Hound. He's a Black Shield. I can now tell. I'll reveal a little thing. There's a bit of a short story. Not short story. An audio drama that came out. I think it's The Chains That Bind, and it's centered around Edrin Har. And you learn a little interesting piece of information is that he is pre World Eaters. So before the World Eaters became the Warhounds, he was around before then. He was one of the first Inception ones. the information that they talk about, the way that they word it, and without them coming out and saying it, it's a realization that he is a Thunder Warrior that was still allowed to basically transfer over into the Adeptus Astartes, because he is bigger, stronger, tougher. He's got the original markings of the Thunder Warriors on him. A lot of his ports, everything else, everything about him screams Thunder Warriors. So I'm going to be interested in reading this book and see if there's any hints to that. Because some people are like, oh, well, the Thunder Warriors all got wiped out. Not true. We still find out during the Horus Heresy, as far back as the Outcast Dead book, which I think is book 8, or maybe book 6, maybe book 8, that the Thunder Warriors are still alive. Some of them are. And some of them are still on Terra, like little mini warlords or crime bosses, that sort of thing. So we know that they're still around. And Edrin Har looks to be like one. So I'm interested to see how this plays out. A couple other books that are coming. I mean, there's a lot of books coming out this weekend. So it'll be really, or not coming out this weekend, but it's going to be revealed or pre-order this weekend. So let me do a real quick refresh to see if there's anything else popped up. Does not look like it. So, man, I really don't even know where to go with these rumors. I think we're just going to have to sit and wait for next week on the 28th at 9 a.m. Central Time, 2 p.m. GMT, to see what's going to be happening, because rumors right now are really rampant. They've been largely right with the normal amount of wishful thinking or wish listing, kind of backing it up. Which is normal, like I said. But I'm really wanting to know what is in store for Warhammer 40,000, and what's in store for Age of Sigmar in this year to come. So we'll be doing that live show on the 28th and on April 4th. This Wednesday evening, 8 p.m. Central Time, we're going to go ahead and cover Ultramodern 5, the 5e edition. That's the RPG I was talking about. And we're going to cover Marvel Crisis Protocol and, of course, everything related to Warhammer, Age of Sigmar, Warhammer 40,000, Necromunda, the works. So it'll be an extra long show on Wednesday evening, and that will be streaming to YouTube. But you should see, if you're not on our YouTube channel, head over there, subscribe, hit the little bell icon so you're getting notifications, and we'll go ahead and announce that and put a link up on our Facebook page so everybody will be able to see it. So you guys have yourself a wonderful week. I know it's Monday. I know it sucks. You always hear me say, hey, enjoy your Monday. Enjoy the rest of your week. Don't let it beat you down. And that still remains the same. Don't let it wear you down. Enjoy your week. Make the best of it. I know coronavirus fears and all that stuff. Just wash your hands. Put some hand sanitizer on. Do not wipe your face with hand sanitizer. There's been a couple incidents where people have done that and they've hurt their eyes. Just be smart, ladies and gentlemen. Stop rubbing your face after you've opened up doors, that sort of thing, especially you guys with beards. Be extra cautious if you have a beard or mustache or whatever. Just take those extra little precautions. Don't freak out. And you know what? While you have this free time and you're not out and about, go ahead and get those models painted. You know what I'm talking about. Get your models built and painted. My name is John with FNP Wargamers. This has been the FNP Morning Show. I'll see you guys Wednesday evening.